Morning. It is another beautiful day in paradise here in Glaskogen. It's a move day today, so we're heading off further down this lake and into another lake where we're going to be wild camping later on. We're actually coming outside of the national park today, so we'll be able to make a fire out in the wilderness just as it should be. But what I thought I'd do is, just before I'm packing up, is just take you through my hammock camping setup that I'm using here. So the hammock that I'm using is the DD Hammocks frontline hammock, and the reason that I've chosen this hammock here is that it's got this mosquito net attached into it, which in this conditions that we've got here is absolutely a must. You could not hammock camp without a mosquito net in these conditions here. So the actual hammock is attached to the tree using this Dyneema cord here. So this is a really strong Dyneema cord here that can easily hold my body weight and more. And this is what is called a whoopee sling. So underneath this snake skin that we've got here. So this Dyneema cord, as you can see here, is actually threaded inside of itself through here. So this makes this fully adjustable just by pulling the weight off it. It will bite on itself, and then you can fully adjust this here. So you've got an adjustable way of adjusting your hammock when it's attached to the tree hugger. So the whoopee sling is attached to the tree hugger by literally just being pushed over a looped knot there that is held in place by that toggle there. This also gives you some really good adjustment as well. And then the mosquito net is just suspended on a piece of bungee just up onto the tree hugger. So sleep gear inside the hammock. I've got that absolutely brilliant quilt that Ginger's made for us here. It's a down quilt. It's really light, packs up to nothing. It's really warm. It's got a nice little foot box on it there. You can also just pin that together there, so you can loop that over your shoulders to keep it in place while you're in your hammock. And then underneath the hammock here, we've got this under blanket, which is literally just attached on both sides of the hammock there, and then that allows you to be cocooned into this like sleeping bag. If you're to use a sleeping bag inside of your hammock, what's going to happen? You're going to lay down, you're going to get compression on the bottom side of your sleeping bag. You're not going to have any insulating properties of your sleeping bag, and then your backside is going to get cold when you're swinging in the wind there. So the under blanket is a good idea. The great thing about this hammock is actually on the other side of the hammock is there is an opening, and you can actually insert a sleep mat if you want to in the inside of the hammock there. But this is an absolute brilliant bit of kit. It takes me a while to actually get comfy in it, but once you get comfy, it's just like a cocoon, and you really will sleep well. Now, tarp wise, this is the DD Hammocks super light tarp. So this is a 3 by 2.8 tarp, and it weighs about 460 grams. And it's really versatile. You've got the tie-out points in absolutely all the perfect places you want, whether you're having it in a square configuration or a triangle configuration. It works in both ways. Now this tarp is suspended by using a continuous ridge line with some soft shackles. Right, so what we've got here is we've got a prusik knot, and then we've got a soft shackle attached to that. And then we've got a good amount of line here, so you've got a fully adjustable amount of line depending on how big the trees are. That soft shackle is attached to the tarp as well, and then you can see that when you pull the prusik knot, that's going to tighten up, and then that's going to create the tension between there. And the great thing about this method is this is completely adjustable, so you can just move your tarp back and forward to get it in the right position that you want. And then just the other thing to mention, when you're guying out your tarp, try to make the line a continuation of your tag end here, so that it runs directly straight from that tag end coming out, instead of out this way or that way. So hammock camping is really versatile. You do have your limits. It is a little bit heavier if you're carrying all of this gear, especially if you're using a synthetic down under blanket. It does have its limitations. It's a lot heavier than using a really lightweight tent, a lightweight sleeping mat, and a lightweight sleeping bag. But it is really nice to just flip up the side of the hammock there and just wake up to a beautiful sunrise. And it is a really comfy sleep as well. So I'll stick a link to the DD Hammocks frontline hammock and also the super light tarp in the description there. Right, it's time to get all of this packed away and get back on the water. Right, so all ready. So handy having that internal storage system. Got the food and all of the random stuff inside of the pack raft. Everything else on the front there. My day bag, the food for the day, my fishing stuff. I think that's time to make this adventure begin. All right, are you ready yet? Right, let's go. We're just sitting in the cut between the two lakes now, and there's an area here that looks fishy AF. So I'm just going to throw a couple of lures, see if there's anything about. Oh, and we've got a fish on straight away. Only a tiddler, but it's a fish. So there we go, little tiny perch. So for the educational part of this video, this fish in Polish is called okon and in Swedish is called abborre. Well, there's a bit of a chop on the water on this lake, and it's coming directly to us. So we've got a pretty strong headwind, so we're going to cross right over in the center of the lake over to the other shore, and then we'll be in the lee of the wind, and then we can paddle down that bank of this lake. Right, so we just come over to this little island here just for a little lunch break. It looks like there's a cabin on the other side, so it's an owned island. What a fantastic thing to have, your own little island in the middle of this lake with a nice little cabin for summer fishing and winter ice fishing. How fantastic would that be? So just gonna have a little break here. We'll continue crossing over this lake so we're in the lee of the wind, because that was absolute, I wouldn't say terrible, but it was arduous coming across there. Right, let's have something to drink. So the one thing I'd recommend if you're filtering your water out here, because the water has a real danky peaty taste to it, is just stick one of these little juice squirty squash thing, I don't know where they're from, I don't know, Robinson's I think. Liddles. And just add a couple of drops of that into your water if you're drinking it like this, because it does taste a bit dank, and yes, it's safe to drink, but it's not pleasant to drink, so a little bit of that certainly helps with the palate. Legs. Fish there. So we're not going to deflate the boats to carry them down the portage there. It's going to be tricky, you know. Mine is fairly heavy because it's got the food for 7-8 days inside of it, but it's a nice day to be sitting here having some food. Are you hungry?
I'm always hungry.
butter.
Oh yes. Spoon me.
Bread. Jerky. Peanut paste. Knife.
This is a knife. This is a knife.
Oh, soft. Oh, I didn't get a cracker out. It was a bit of a schoolboy error, wasn't it? That's alright, I got it. I think we've got a nut juice problem. What's going on with your nuts, Jared?
I've got a shitty tube. It's definitely nut juice. Everything's been nutted on.
I can't see what's going on in the sack. It looks like an explosion. Are you ready then for this portage?
I am ready for this portage.
Right, so that's a total of 4k piggybacking those two packrafts. And my packraft weighs an absolute ton. I thought it was about 9 kilos of food in there. I'm saying it's probably about 12 kilos because I can't even pick the packraft up on my own, and that's without my bag on the top there. Right, so we're just going to get these down by the lake, have 5 minutes down there because we're both absolutely knackered. It's bright sunshine. It's super hot, as you can see here, not a cloud in the sky. Just have 5 seconds and get them all loaded up, and then we're going to start looking for a campsite for tonight.
Hey portage, don't get packraft.
Stop pissing about.
That's better. Oh, the G-string's gone up the bum.
That place is not the best. But if we can't find anything else, it will have to do. I'm sure we'll be able to find something else. Let's go and have another look. Well, we know we're 2 days ahead of our plan, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are 2 days ahead, which opens up a load more stuff for us to do at the end of all of this. But there looks like a decent enough campsite up ahead there, nice and sandy, loads of space. And then we've got about, in the morning, about an hour's paddle on this lake to the portage. And then there's a portage of 600 meters into the next lake, which is only a small lake, and then an 1800 meter portage to the next lake called Årjäng. So we'll probably miss the small lake out completely and portage the whole thing into Årjäng, and then just take our time there tomorrow, spend a bit of time there. But what a cracking day. Right, well, campsite found. Not the best, but it will do, because I'm absolutely knackered. Unfortunately, we've got the wind straight onto where we're going to be camping, and it is literally just at the edge of one of those little access roads that the forests and the lakes have here. But it will do. We'll fling up the hammocks and get some food on the go, because I am starving and I'm absolutely knackered. Right then, so all set up for this evening. I feel absolutely smashed after today. That wind and the sun has turned me a new one. It really has. So it's about 11.5k we done on the lakes today. So we're going to stop here for the night, and it's going to be a topless night tonight. So I've set up my frontline hammock just between these two trees here. Looking at the weather forecast, doesn't look like there's going to be any rain, but I have a sneaking suspicion if I don't put a tarp up, it's going to rain. But hey ho, let's give it a go. So yeah, so I've just set this up between the two trees here. I'm absolutely knackered, so I'm going to have a bit of a nanny nap now. And Jared's on the food later on, so God knows what delights that will be. But yeah, absolutely knackered. A few fish on the way today, not loads, but a few. Did have a good follow from a good sized pike, but he just literally followed the spinner and was not interested at the end of it all. Right, so I'm going to have a nap and I shall see you in a bit. Salmon and pasta for this evening. Time for some grub then. I'm really not hungry considering how much we've paddled and the calories we've burnt today. I really am not that hungry. I have to force myself to eat, I think. But this is one of my favourites. Creamy salmon with pasta. So you got potato in there, peas, carrots, and then the best thing about this is the big old chunks of salmon that's inside of it. Right, so I just had myself a little nature swim, bit of a wash, feel really refreshed now. So just going to sit here, have a couple of swigs of rum, hopefully that'll sort my sore throat out, and just sit and watch and have a look at this wonderful view. Right, so that's us all fed and watered. I'm absolutely shattered. I'm going to get myself to bed, so I'll catch you in the morning.